Hey, I'm going to give you 5 tools today to help lock in your proportion and help you to draw with a little bit more confidence. My name's Kurt, I'm a dad who draws. Let's use these in order to draw an elephant. Come on, let me show you how it's done. This is the daily draw. On Fridays, we always look at something that has to do with animals. We are going to talk about elephants. Ooh, elephants are great. Okay, so like anything else, this is whenever we approach a new subject, we want to think of just the basis of putting these things together. Okay, so let's try and break this guy down here just in some large shapes first as part of our gesture, and then let's think of how do we turn this thing around to be to add construction to it. So first thing, as I am going to draw this in a gesture format, this is what I'm thinking when I see it. This has he has a really upward motion. You see that? So I'm holding my pencil by the back to keep it really, really loose. Looking for straight and curves. Okay, I think that will suffice. All right, so that will suffice for a nice, quick gesture drawing. Right. Now let's come in here and actually define this up with shapes. We're still kind of in that gesture phase here, so let's look at this. This is the shape I'm looking at first in my mind. All right, I'm kind of looking at this. This is what I'm thinking in my mind. How do I get that sort of rectangle? All right, and then how do I get that rectangle right there? That's the relationship that I'm going for. All right, I'm trying to look at the relationship between the mass of these two rectangles. All right, where does this, look at this trunk, it comes in way up top there, so let's kind of get that idea. Let's build this part of his leg right there, right? You get a nice taper of that lower leg right there, right? And then the leg behind is almost a straight coming down. I'm gonna get another cup of coffee, okay? I'll be right back. All right, so look at the negative space. Look at this negative space here. I'm going to change that to be blue here. Look at this. All right, look at this negative shape here. All right, so let's use that as a measuring for us, okay? So I got this going here, okay, that. And I think I'm about like that. That will help me position that back leg. All right, I'm going to turn this off now. All right, let's see here. All right, there's that. That's not too bad for a negative shape right there. All right, let's get this hind leg in here now. We're kind of like this. And I'm going to use that other negative shape in between those two hind legs to get that back leg in the right position. Okay, so this kind of we're transitioning now from our gesture more into our construction. So let's just kind of keep coming down here now and start thinking about layers now. What's on top of what? Okay, so what about this ear? This ear is coming back here. And like I said, when I draw, even with a pencil, I'll push down and pull up. I'll get a nice long line, and I'll start off light. I'll push down, and then I pull my pencil off the page. So you'll see that it's become very automatic. So look at this line right. Without even thinking about it, I want you to look at this line right here. Hey, I bet your drawing looks pretty good right now. Hey, pause for a second and join Oliver and get down there and give me a nice thumbs up, or better yet, subscribe to the channel. Go down there and leave a comment. Yes, leave a comment with some good dad jokes about elephants. See that? I went in slightly and then it hit it and then I pulled back. So you get a real nice taper of your line. I've seen some people call that line like line quality. All right, we got that going right. And then his trunk is going to taper just a bit. And he's got some beautiful surface lines here that I just want to make sure I put them in here and get them nice and curvy. Someone had mentioned in the Facebook group about cross hatching, and you know, adding your surface lines is slightly like cross hatching. Now, and this is how I'm going to use it right now. Watch this. So look at this part of I don't have an elephant skull. I have no idea. I don't have no idea what it looks like, but I'm assuming that this is part of his, you know, his orbital, what do they call it? Orbital mass, like the section of his skull that protects his eye. Okay, so let me show you how I'm going to describe that. I'm just going to come down here and I think just do this sort of thing. And then I'm going to use surface lines to get the top of his head. Use surface lines to describe that ear. Now, I'm looking also at like dark shadows or shapes. So look at this. This is a nice deep shadow right coming in here. And I think this is his mouth. His jaw is open. He's probably thirsty. Let's get his back leg here. silhouette mass. And then, so I'm thinking of surface lines. These are all the drawing tools in my head that I'm using to describe form. I mean, that's surface lines, dark shapes. These can also be light shapes. And I'm going to show you one right now, is overlap. So like right in here, I could do this sort of thing. Here's a little bit of overlap right there. Here's a little bit of overlap right there. Trying to create the sense of form and volume. I'm going to use tone. Trying to keep my tones limited to the number of ones that I'm using. Dark shapes and tone, they're kind of hand in hand in a marriage, right? All right, look at this. Look at this beautiful overlap going there. Look at that right there. And if I squint my eyes, let's drop that middle tone here. Finally, contrast. Lots. This is why drawing, I think, is so hard, is because we have all of these things. You have all of these devices in your head, and you're constantly making these decisions. What should I use here? What's going to enhance my picture? What's going to distract from it? All right, let's bring up another picture here. Let's bring up this one here. I think this is interesting. All right. So let's go through this process again, and this time let's talk about let's review here. Gesture, and we're going to have a combined like action plus shape. Oops, shape. Then we'll look at, then you're going to get into, this is kind of a subcategory there. Then we're going to look at construction and detail. Okay, let's do this here. All right. Okay, so let's get this body in here first. That to me, this whole body fits in a square. Okay, that's a good shape to start off with, and let me demonstrate where that is. So I'm thinking of this right here, right now. Okay. All right, now I could look at this and like, okay, his head is going to be, I'm going to do something like that. His head is wider. the distance. I'm looking at that distance and comparing it to that distance and comparing it. They're like perfectly equal, right? So if I go like that and like that, okay, it's about the size of that, right? How far down? These tusks are coming almost halfway down that square. You see that? There's some other quick things I could reference here. This front foot is toward the front of that square, but it's kind of starting halfway just like this. You see that? Look at that negative shape back here. His left ear is almost starting to the top of that original square I drew. Okay, so there's a quick gesture. I'm going to give you a minute here to kind of work through that. So as you're working through that, you know, what I did was I started with a general rectangle that was easy in my mind to picture that body. And now that becomes my measuring tool to measure all my other proportions to try and start getting the thing looking in proportion. All right, let's continue on here now. All right, now let's move in. So we've got some nice action and some shape. Okay, let's think about layering here now. All right, what pieces of this, what parts are in front of which? Okay, so let's kind of think about that. So this tusk is coming down, right, like that. And where's this other guy? This other guy is out here, and he's going a little bit lower. Okay, that's all good. Surface lines for the top of this trunk here. And this is going behind that tusk. And I'm going to now erase. All right, where are my eyes? How are my eyes lining up with this? Okay, my eyes are kind of there. And this is, eyes are coming right about there. Using some surface lines and just really start to think about some of these little tools in my head here. And I would just simply say, don't worry about it. Those things will happen over time. You don't have to, you don't have to remember them. Now, one thing you could do that's helpful, if you can't remember them, you could put them on a Post-it note. Just write surface lines, dark shapes, overlap, tone, contrast, and you could put that next to your drawing board or wherever you draw. That way you can have a reference to those things. I remember when I was starting to do figure drawing, a key thing in figure drawing is to know where all the landmarks of the body. Well, what are landmarks? These are things of like the pit of the neck. That's a landmark you could see on everybody. And there's a ton of them. Well, I drew these two small drawings listing all the landmarks, and I taped those on my drawing board. So when I was drawing my figure drawing, it was very easy to keep referring to trying to draw those landmarks. So if you were to add this as a list, hey, that's a great reminder, great teaching tool that you can use. All right, here we go. Now look at this. This is nice here. His lower leg, you see this? It's like a slight tone to it. And I'm adding some surface lines there. All right, then we've got some dark value back here. Let's try and see what we could do with that. By adding a little bit dark value here, I'm going to try and get that trunk to pop just a little bit. Not the trunk, there you go, the tusk. And then dark value back here is also to help pop that tusk there. And this comes, okay. How are we doing there? Got that. This kind of got away from me just a little bit. Look at this. Look at right there. Bam, just like that. Head is going to overlap the ear. All right. Look at these beautiful surface lines coming out here. Bam, bam. Oh my goodness. I get these dreams and goals that I want to go out and visit all of you wherever you live, and but listen, my name's Kurt. Have a great day. All right, I'm out of here. A dad who draws.